Broadcasting live from the EBSN online studios in Columbus, Ohio. It's Silver and Blue Nation, the voice of diehard Dallas Cowboy fans. Now, here are your hosts, Big Game James and Producer G.
What up, everybody? It's Silver and Blue Nation.
Here's your host,
Big Game James.
Producer G.
You know how we do. We on the ones and twos. You know what I mean? I'm going to just jump in real quick. Wayne Scott is going ham. He already in here going ham about Dez Bryant. Say they ain't trading him. I love
that's
Wayne.
The hot topic now.
He loves some Dez Bryant. I love your loyalty to Dez Bryant. Wayne Scott, shout outs to you and salutes. Maurice Trevino as well. That's my big dog.
Yes, appreciate you tuning in, Maurice. And anybody who's tuning in right now on Facebook Live or YouTube, make sure you give us a like, a share, give us a big thumbs up, put us in all your favorite Cowboys groups, and get ready for some
And get in
Cowboys
here, man.
Football.
I know y'all want to talk some Cowboys football. Go in there and tell your friends. I don't think I got to share everything.
Let us know where you're watching from as well.
Yeah, let us know where
So
you're
Ryan
watching from. Let us know where you're watching from.
Let me jump over here on Law Nation's YouTube channel, and I want to monitor these comments.
I'm getting everything together. We're getting some people in here.
So
Wayne said he had to set the tone. He set the tone. He said we ain't doing nothing to Dez. He's setting the tone early.
Well, we'll be.
We're gonna find out though, Wayne.
Today.
I mean, me and you can say that this may happen or this may happen, but let me tell you, we seen the TO thing. Just remember that. Remember the TO thing. Remember we thought we was gonna maybe keep him, maybe not keep him. Then out of nowhere, cut.
Yeah,
that's surprise. It was, and remember when he drew the circle.
Mm-hmm. He said, "Here's where we are," and he put a little dot outside
he
of
said,
the circle.
"Here where
Here's
you are." And he said, "Guess what? The Dallas Cowboys are bigger than T.O. and everybody else." So I'm not saying advocate cut Dez Bryant or whatever. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that.
We'll dive more into that.
We'll dive into it.
Let me give a few shout-outs here over on Law Nation's YouTube. Cowboys Abroad, Aaron, Christina Marino, Dallas Cowboys Talk, Arbor Yabera, Mr. Osiris.
A lot of people
TV.
up in that YouTube.
There's a lot over here on YouTube. We appreciate everybody who's checking in. If we didn't get to your name,
what up?
Keep it coming.
I need some more
keep the
Facebook
comments,
people
and I'll keep shouting you out. Fred Woods.
There we go.
Yes, Facebook jump in here. Adam Dixon in Galveston, Texas. Wayne Scott in York, PA.
Galveston.
You already mentioned him.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you tuning in. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the topics.
Let's go.
As we
let's
roll
go.
along before we get into some more of your comments and things like that.
Right.
And we also will have a phone call coming up today from Ari Timkin.
Yes, sir.
To talk some Dallas Cowboys football. So we're looking forward to that too.
Mm-hmm.
So stick around for that. So what we do here is basically go back the entire week. I'm going to go all the way back to last Sunday and what's happened throughout the week since our last show. And then the week started off with Zeke playing in some kind of flag football game. It was called Huncho Day or something.
Yeah, Huncho Day.
Some kind of Julio Jones event that he put together. So you want to talk about that a little bit? I didn't get to read a lot into that.
Well, I mean, it was just those little charity games that they do, to bring awareness, to get money, not for them, but just for charities. I didn't really dabble into it. I seen, the biggest thing was, Zeke knocking 21 Savage down. 21 Savage catching the ball over the middle. He knocked him down.
I've seen that. He looks small.
He is small. He's like, keep it real. He's like my size. I'm a small dude, so I can admit it. But guess what? I'm stronger than y'all think, so don't be trying to slip on me. But anyway, he a small dude. And, he knocked him down. Savage came back and tackled him. And I'm like, hey, don't be tackling Zeke like that, dog. Like, I don't need no pulled, tore up calf because he accidentally tripped or something. But Zeke, I believe, won the game with his got a game-winning touchdown and slam dunked it pretty easy on the goalpost.
I felt like
Zeke looks good.
You could tell Zeke kind of just let him tackle him.
Yeah,
he was like,
nah.
He's like 3 times that
right.
guy's size.
Yeah, like if Zeke wanted to just truck him, it was over.
That's when you see a guy see him standing next to a guy like that, you really realize how big Zeke is. He's a big dude.
He's 230 pounds, or at least he's thick.
And he's short too.
Right,
not short, but
But he's about he's the same height. I think he's taller. I think he's about 5'11". Savage is like about 5'10", about $65.
He looked tiny though in comparison.
Yeah. He did.
So moving on from that, then we had Coney Ely.
That's the big
boys.
thing.
That's a big news of the week.
That's the huge news of the week.
So what's that say for the whole situation? We got maybe Randy Gregory coming back. We still got Taco. We got David Irving. We don't know what's going to happen with that. Maybe he goes somewhere else. Maybe he's not with us this year.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of impact do you think Coney Ely will have, and what do you think signing him will do with that situation?
Well, number one, you seen what Coney Illy did in the Super Bowl. He was a monster. I like Coney Illy when he came out of Missouri. I liked him when he was at Missouri. He was a good player. Missouri puts out good defensive ends, good defensive players. So I always kept an eye on him, just me personally. When he left out of Carolina, I wanted him then because I thought he would be a great addition to us because he's just a good pass rusher. He can play in coverage. He's just one of those relentless type players. He's kind of one of them people that you want on your team. You know what I mean? He really made that Carolina Panther defense better. So when we had him in and the Jets basically took the offer and they because we wanted him then and the Jets got him. I think he's going to be a tremendous addition, way better than Benson Mayo. And as I said before, remember Benson Mayo, his first year he led us in sacks, and he was benched for 3 or 4 games, and he was our sack leader that year with 5.5 sacks. So Coney Illy is better than him. So I get excited about that because now you have some insurance because you still don't know what's going to happen with Randy Gregory. Charles Tapper, I wrote an article about him. He's been injury prone. He's played in 1 game in 2 years, so we still don't know about him. So I think it's a great insurance policy, and he's only 26 years old, and it's on a 1-year deal. So it could be a deal where he comes out and does like gangbusters for us, and then maybe can get a 2-3 year deal while he's still young. So I think it was a great addition for us, something that we much needed. But I think at the end of the day, we still need that strong right defensive end that we are lacking. We have a lot of good left defensive ends, but we don't have that dominant right end. And that's what we really need.
I like the signing, too, for depth and just, I guess, fitting into that rotation with the other guys, but it feels like we have a million edge rushers now like that, you know, that are similar.
But they're all on the left.
Right. But maybe some of them, you know, like Taco for sure can probably do stuff on the right, or someone else, you know, can be versatile. But I really liked him coming out of college. I think he fell to, 2nd or 3rd round?
Yeah,
he
dropped.
But I really liked him. I think he was at Missouri coming out, so he was huge. And then in that Super Bowl that you mentioned, I think he had 2 sacks and an interception.
I think did he have 2 or 3?
It was 2 or 3 sacks. I know he had a pick, too, against Peyton Manning.
Right.
And had Carolina won that game,
he would have been MVP.
He would have probably been Super Bowl MVP.
He would have been the Super Bowl MVP.
Yep. So
because he balled out. And he had a good year that year at Carolina. You know what I mean?
Danny Guzman on Facebook Live says, who's going to wear the 94, Ely or Randy Gregory? Well, right now, Randy Gregory has it.
I think they had Randy Gregory on Twitter. I just happened to see it. Somebody said that I guess Coney Illy was going to have 94, and he says who? That's what Randy Gregory said.
Oh, so yeah, he would have to give it up.
Yeah, but I got at least excited when Randy Gregory says who. You know,
yeah, like he feeling like he owns
like
that.
I'm on that.
Like
you ain't getting that. I'm gonna be there this year.
Competitive juices
Maybe
are flowing.
maybe that got me excited. But I talked to a few people on Twitter that have some good Cowboys knowledge, and they said it's gonna probably be a little bit before we see some Randy Gregory. Not because his past, just life.
Like football shape.
Yeah,
and
just life. You know what I'm saying? Football, life, all those kind of good things. So I think the biggest thing with Randy Gregory, we should just, like you said. You told me this last week and the week before. Just treat him like kind of like Jalen Smith we did last year. Temper the expectations. Don't have any kind of expectations for any kind of Randy Gregory for nothing. Whatever he does is a bonus. Just like what Jalen Smith did for us last year was a bonus because you couldn't have really possibly expect Jalen Smith to come in with drop foot and really dominate in the NFL. You couldn't have possibly expected. But what he did do was give you excitement for this year because he played all season with drop foot.
Oh, yeah, you got to be real pumped about Jalen Smith now.
Hell yeah.
We talked about that even before the season began last year was
no expectation.
This offseason right now, coming into this year is the year where you really want
to
be excited for him returning because him playing it all last year, like you said, was way ahead of schedule and ahead of expectations. So the fact that we got that, like you said, was just a bonus. Los Leva in here in the Facebook Live comments
What's up, Los?
Appreciates your Cowboys knowledge, talking about Big Game James, says, do you think we can land Navarro Bowman, and what are your feelings about Will Hernandez, if you want to answer that real quick?
I think we could land Navarro Bowman, but I really feel like the Raiders, if they put any kind of interest back in him, he's going to go to Oakland because that's where he's from. That's where his heart is at. I wouldn't see him coming to Dallas that's just like me if I was playing in Dallas. I'm from Dallas. I'm not running all the way to Oakland, going to the West Coast to go play for them on a 1-year or 2-year deal. You know what I mean? I'm going to stay close to home. These guys are older. Bowman is 33, 34 years old. I don't see him going to traveling across the country for possibly just a 1 year or maybe 2. He's not getting no more than a 2-year deal with us. So I don't see him coming with Dallas. And as far as Will Hernandez, I love Hernandez. I don't know what's going to happen. It's so crazy with this draft this year because we have the 19th pick. So many things are going on. He's been around, took photos, kicked it with Cowboys people. I love what he can add. It's just kind of see what's really going to happen. If they do draft Will Hernandez, that tells me they're going to keep Collins at tackle. And your guy Fleming, who we brought in, he's just going to be the swing. So I think that's what we have to look at in the draft, what's really going to happen with that 19th pick, because that's going to be huge as far as the landslide with the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th picks, because that first pick is really going to dictate what we're going to do from there.
That's an interesting situation to see how that plays out. We got a lot of interesting position battles going into this offseason with the receivers, the linemen, just to see where all that shapes up and who fits in where.
Right.
Let me give a couple shout-outs over here on Law Nation's YouTube page. DJ Cobbs, Sushi817, El Chapo, Paco, J Farm D, Brandon Hoke, God Emperor, Almighty Forefather.
They got some names. Y'all got some names, y'all. Y'all love y'all names. Y'all got some beastie names.
Or any of your comments, keep those coming in. J Farm D said Randy Gregory's done. I do believe if he messes up again, he's done.
If he messes up, it's over.
J Farm also says Tapper's done.
Nah, I'm not going to say that.
So those are 2 guys, though, that we need to see something this season from.
Well,
Would you agree they're both?
They're on
this
the
is it for them,
they're on
for
the
both
fringe.
of those
Yeah,
guys.
this is it. I mean, because and like I said, go check out Big Game James' page. Go read the article that I wrote on Tapper. I said it's now or never. So I definitely already said it's now or never with Tapper. He has to prove because he's played 1 game in 2 years and he's proven to be injury prone. So if he comes into camp,
you know what?
What?
I just with the Charles Tapper because I wanted to actually set you up with a question for that, but you segued into something that I was going to bring up, and then we just went way off on Charles Tapper. So which one would you like to answer first? You want to talk about Tapper, or I had something related to Fleming?
Let me knock out. Let's go ahead with Fleming. Go ahead with Fleming.
All right, because you had mentioned Fleming, so
okay.
And we'll get right back to Tapper. So if you're watching, we will get right back to Charles Tapper after this question. So out of the two offensive free agents that we've picked up, who would have the biggest impact this season, Cam Fleming or Allen Hurns?
Allen Hurns.
Okay.
Yep, Allen Hurns, because I think we talked about it last week. Allen Hurns has more of a passion. I'm not going to say he has more passion than Fleming. I'm saying Allen Hurns wants to be with Dallas. He's on the interviews. You can hear him. You can hear it in his voice. You can hear everything about him. Allen Hurns loves Dallas. It seems like he loves the Dallas Cowboys.
Took less money.
And you got to let's not forget, Allen Hurns wasn't a first round, second round, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh. He was undrafted. So he can't really walk around like he has the big head. You get what I'm saying? He had a nice deal with Jacksonville, but it was still Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Now, if we're looking at Allen Hurns' head, I played with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm gone. Now I'm playing with the Dallas Cowboys, and I was an undrafted receiver, and I'm possibly play with Dez Bryant. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's going to give more of that.
You know what else I wondered about Hurns? The fact that Jacksonville is a smaller market. So, like, I wonder if, maybe he could have been overlooked because he played in a smaller market. Like, maybe he's a lot better, than what people think, or the deal that he accepted or was offered. Maybe he's better than that.
Right.
And that's kind of why I say it reminds me a little bit in a way of, like, an Emmanuel Sanders when he left Pittsburgh going to Denver.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It just has that feel.
That's a good one.
Like, he kind of was the number 2 in Pittsburgh, which he still was in Denver as well, the number 2, but he played like a number 1 when he got in Denver. Of course, some of that was being with Peyton Manning, but he still played well even after that. And I always liked him in Pittsburgh too, talking about Emmanuel Sanders. So he kind of left to be he wanted to kind of do his own thing because he was going he was going to be under the shadows of Sanders. Get paid big money or anything.
He was going to be under the shadow of Brown the whole time.
Well, he went and it really was under the shadow of Demaryius Thomas, but really they both were kind of even there.
I think so.
But that's kind of what I'm hoping for, and that's what this situation reminds me of with Allen Hurns in general. Just the whole thing just reminds me of that, where he's coming from Pittsburgh is a bigger market, but because they have a huge fan base, but coming from a team where he was maybe overlooked and signing with a team for not max money at all, and then could have a huge impact, as I could even say as much as being a 1,000-yard receiver, in the first year. So that's the kind of impact I'm hoping for Allen Hurns.
I think Allen Hurns is going to be a dog for us.
What's up, Ron Smith?
He's going to be Allen Hurns is a tough player. He's been a tough player since he's came into the league. The only thing that's really hurt him is the injuries lately. The last few years, he's been a little bit injury prone. But when Allen Hurns is on the field, I think he's going to make a huge difference with Dallas, and I think he's going to help make Dak a better player just because he's feisty. He kind of got an attitude. He's almost like a baby Dez, like for real. He almost is like a baby Dez in a way because the way he plays hard. He plays, and
he wore number 88.
I mean,
not that matters.
Just saying, he may want to win.
I think we got Tyson in here, West Coast Cowboy, in our comment section. He says Hurns will want to have the number 88 in 2 years. I don't think they're giving no Allen Hurns 88, but I just don't think. I've never seen a player change his number after a couple years.
He might as well just keep it because at the end of the day, he ain't no 88. I mean, I'm not disrespecting no Hurns, but that's Drew Pearson.
In Dallas, that's something special.
That's something special, just like you ain't 22. You ain't wearing 22. You know what I'm saying? 88, I'm surprised, but if you're getting 88, they're only giving it to a dog. They're not giving it to a regular player because regular players ain't supposed to be wearing no 88.
And as much as everyone likes to bash on Dez, I mean, like lately,
he's still a beast.
He got 70 touchdowns, 7,000 yards in 7 years.
He's the all-time leader.
That's worthy of a number 88.
Yeah, he's a dog. Like, no, I'm not. Like I said, when I was telling people I feel like he has declined, I don't think he's like that top receiver that he was, but I never, ever said Dez was like fell off the planet or anything like that. I said the biggest thing with Dez Bryant was that contract. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Well, for me, it's more like that's huge because of the production, but the whole situation is because of the quarterback change.
Yeah,
that's
he's not going to get those numbers. He's not going to do that.
Anytime you change a quarterback, you got to have an adjustment period.
Numbers are going to drop.
And, I remember when Dez first came in, it took Romo and him a little while to get that chemistry down. They didn't have it right away.
It didn't pop off instantly. No. Like, Romo had to get Dez together.
Yeah, it took a little while,
but seasons. It was Romo had to get – it wasn't Dez getting his stuff together. It was Romo getting Dez together.
Right.
You feel me? And I think that's why I think maybe some of the criticism has come to Dez because, he's, about to be 29. And I just – to me – if you've been on the team that long and you've been one of the guys and you never wore the captain, that just kind of means something to me. I don't know why. Maybe it just means something to me. I just feel like your other peers,
it does mean something.
Your other peers don't look at you as a leader.
I feel like the Tyron Smiths, the Jason Wittens, like Romos, those are the kind of guys that get those captains, and those are franchise players. And I think Dez is a franchise player, but there's something about him that's not franchise. You know what I mean? Like, he has franchise skill.
Well, I told you. People don't look at him as a leader. I think people still look at Dez as maybe a little immature still.
Oh, for sure.
That's just what it is. And I think that's why he doesn't get the captain. This is my opinion. You don't have to like it. But as I said, I think that's why he doesn't. His peers look at him like, I love Dez. Like, if you're around Dez Bryant, I bet you would love him. He probably the coolest dude. I got mad. I bet you if I was around, I'd want to kick it with him. You know what I mean? But that still don't want to make me want to make you a captain.
Right. DJ Cobbs over here on Law Nation YouTube says, we need to draft a wide receiver. Hurns is injury prone. Yes, he has some injury prone. Ron Smith on Facebook live feed says, does Hurns have that type of speed? I don't think he has.
No, he's like a 4 or 5 guy. No,
type speed. If you're just joining us, this is the Silver and Blue Nation live podcast. We're streaming on EBSN Online, Law Nation's YouTube as well. So if you're watching there, make sure you go over to Silver and Blue Nation YouTube and subscribe there as well, as we put out weekly content and live videos there too. So go check us out there. Also, the Dallas Prospect. You want to check that out, go to thedallasprospect.com. Follow that site on all social media, as well as YouTube, and watching live videos from there that we do on Wednesday nights as well.
And
with
if
Law
you
Nation.
ain't listening to us right now, you can always jump on SoundCloud, iTunes,
Yes.
and Google Play.
Yes.
Check us out there. Don't forget about us because everybody can't watch the live streams. So pop it in your radio. Listen to us, man. Give us some love, man.
Listen
Give us some
back.
love.
You don't even have to watch.
You don't got to watch. You just want to
have
hear
us-
our lovely voices.
Have us in the car on
We got
Bluetooth
some
and your
good
earbuds,
we
however
got-
you want to do it.
We got some good voices.
I know a lot of you got the Beats.
Yeah.
You can use those with the Bluetooth. We're going to stay on the Dez Bryant topic a little bit more because there was a report that
that
Jerry and
Stafford.
Stephen Jones
Right.
are disagreeing on the Dez Bryant situation.
Sounds
So
about right.
this sounds like Jerry wants to keep him at the price and Stephen wants to cut money. Is that pretty much what it's coming down to?
Pretty much.
Now
And
they're going to have this talk with Dez Bryant sometime and figure this thing out.
so,
Something's going to have to happen.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you this, G. You just hear this, right? So is it really coming down to Jerry having the last word? Because it looks like Steven got the power now.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's Jerry because, I'm sure he's the one at the end of the day who's the owner, the CEO. He's the one on top. So
But that
ultimately,
boy
it's on
Stephen
him.
Jones is coming in like gangbusters
But-
now, ain't he?
Now, maybe they structured something where they all signed contracts where Stephen Jones has certain powers
I
and
doubt it.
Jerry don't. Yeah,
I
they probably
doubt it.
didn't, but
I doubt that.
that would be the only way I would see, like, okay, Steven actually has authority here. Outside of that, no. I mean, it's ultimately going to be up to Jerry until he's gone and can't do it anymore. Unless he decides to give up that power, which
I think if
I don't
they
think
have that
he's
talk,
done that.
pay cuts being talked about. But like, as I said before, pay cut was being talked about with Brandon Carr. Brandon Carr didn't take that pay cut. Remember when Tyson had called in and he said he thought he had leverage? But he probably maybe did, but not really because at the end of the day, we cut Dallas cut 4 cornerbacks and we had nobody. And they drafted 4 people. So Brandon Carr really didn't have the leverage, I don't feel like. It's just that, I don't know. Maybe they didn't go out as hard and get those people. But, they came to Brandon Carr with that $10 million and told him to take a pay cut. And he said, hell to the no. And he played on it.
Yeah.
He did not change that salary that year.
And I mean, I would definitely say I'd rather have Dez on more money than I would Brandon Carr on more
Hell
money.
yeah.
So if you want to look at it like that, there was.
But is Dez Bryant really crippling us to stay on the team one more year?
Probably yes.
How you
because
figure?
Multiple things. I
Why?
mean, because he's going to mess up that chemistry. You said it yourself. Dak was better without Dez Bryant in the game.
Yeah, I
So
do.
that's a part of it right there. Dak won't have that person in his ear barking for the ball all the time, and Dak can just do his own thing. So I think that it does cripple because, like you've said before too, I don't think that Dez and Dak connection I don't think that's going to work with them too.
I don't think it is either.
Now, Dez might work with someone else, but not Dak, I don't think.
Neither do I.
So that's
I don't really want to cut Dez Bryant, but I just, as I said before, even when Ari called in and, he was saying the same thing. We're going to talk about it a little bit when Ari calls in, but he said the same thing. It was more about the lead dog thing.
right.
And that I feel like the way, in my heart, I don't want to cut Dez because Dez is a talent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the mind says he has to go. The heart says I want him to stay. The mind says he has to go because I don't feel like Dak can flourish with Dez being on the team because as we talked about, Dez is going to stay in that ear. And Dak missed Dez a lot. Just on the videos we've been showing from Okoye, he's been the guy. He's been showing videos where Dez has been open. And Dak has not gotten the ball.
He is. That's what I'm saying. I still think he's a really good receiver, just not with Dak.
Yeah.
But you know what this reminds me a lot of? And you actually was talking about this when we started the show, the T.O. situation. When Romo came in, he was the young guy. T.O. was the older guy
Right.
who always was dominant and wanted
And
the
was
ball.
in that ear.
So it's similar to that.
Yes, it is.
And what had to happen for Romo to flourish and get better?
T.O. had to go.
T.O. had to go. So it's kind of looking very similar to that situation.
Exactly. Like this is the situation may play out again because T.O. was all the way in Romo's ear all the time. And you could see how it was affecting Romo's play because he was in that ear. And you know how T.O. is. He ain't mentioning
Romo couldn't actually be the leader or command the
Right.
offense when you have a guy that's
dominant.
holding you back, not letting you do what you want to do.
dominant like that. T.O. is a dominant personality.
Right. Yeah, and player. So
Yeah, right.
he was allowed to be that personality because
Right.
he produced.
That's right.
Let's thank a couple people who was able to check in with us over here on Facebook Live. Daniel
Willie
Candelaria
Stover,
made it.
where you been?
Johnny Gallimore. We are at a different time today than what we normally go. I think we're going to stick with this time going forward. We're going to knock it out a little earlier in the day so we can enjoy Sunday evening activities
and
until
I love
the football
you for
season
it, G.
starts.
I love you for it, G.
Hey,
I
we
love
could have
your time
done that.
change.
We could have done it whenever.
Okay, well,
We're doing it now though. 3:30 to around 5. That's what we're going for every week. So we appreciate you tuning in. If you're checking in, whether it's our Facebook Live or even over here on the Law Nation YouTube channel. Night 8907 says trade Beasley. If you know Big Game James, he's been on that train
I've been
for
on that
while.
Train for a year
Since last season, like in the
I
middle
know
of the
people
year,
like, dang, man, he don't like Beasley. Yes, I do like Beasley. That's why I'm like, get rid of him.
Thanks for checking in, Camo Cowboy, Franklin O'Bleary over here on Law Nation's YouTube channel.
What
Appreciate
up?
that. Make sure you guys go check out the Silver and Blue Nation YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
Give us a follow there. If you're watching on Law Nation, give us a big thumbs up.
Please give us a big thumbs
Facebook,
up.
give us a like and share.
No 4, 3, 2s, or 1s.
And you can, if you're watching the video, you can see
Share
it up
it
on the screen. We're all over the place.
Share
Google
it.
Play, iTunes, SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, there's just
we all. Hey, have you ever seen area codes? Area codes
all over the place.
All
it's just
over.
unbelievable.
All over.
So there was one other thing to mention. You said that you didn't really know all the details on it. We spoke about it a little bit off the air, but the mini camp dates have been released. So if you want to check that out, it's over on Big Game James' Facebook
Check it out on
page.
because I don't have them all. I'm sorry if
Just
I don't. But,
scroll back through the week.
You kind of glance at them and look at them. But I guarantee you what, they're coming up. Them June, Julys, them OTAs, all that good stuff. But the biggest thing, when we going to talk, what we on next? Because I know that.
Well, I was going to move on back to what I promised earlier, the Charles Tapper situation.
Okay.
We'll get back into that. So
I'm ready for Tapper.
basically, we're just going to ask you, what are you expecting from him this year?
I don't know what to expect from Charles Tapper. I know he has the talent, but, I think we talked about what was it, Wednesday? When we talked to Derek with Dallas Prospect and Law Nation, I think we brought up the Tapper situation. And, Derek is a Oklahoma fan. He's an OU fan. And he said that he watched Tapper and he never thought Tapper was special. He thought he was kind of like a splash type guy. A guy can come in on the third down, maybe get a big sack here and there. And, I listened to Derek and I kind of felt that way, but I didn't know he was going to be a full-time. He's just like, remember when we talked about it, 2G? Like, he might be one of those guys that just come off the bench and be explosive, but not a full-time starter. Because you just didn't see them traits.
Fits in that rotation.
He just fits in the rotation. Doesn't see those starting
like a Lawrence or something.
Yeah, he doesn't
like
look.
He's dominant.
He just doesn't look like that type of dude. You know what I mean?
I thought he could though. At first his college highlights are crazy.
They're okay. I don't think Oklahoma used them like they were supposed to, but he had those physical skills running the 4.5, 4.6 and the 40. But what are my expectations from him? I don't know because he's always hurt. That's why I wrote the article. It's now or never because if you actually get Randy Gregory to play, you have Taco Charlton, you have DeMarcus Lawrence, you still have Tyrone Crawford. We don't know what's going to happen. David Irvin, we're still seeing with that situation. Dayton Elliott, I believe, not Elliott, but Dayton Jones is still on the lineup. I mean, and then they're probably going to draft at least one DN, maybe two. We got 10 picks. It may get 2.
I'd be surprised if they do, considering all the guys we have now.
Nah, to me, we don't have a right defensive end, so you still need if you got somebody in the 4th or 5th round, if you don't draft them earlier, you need to get that because there ain't no guarantee for Tapper to be on the roster because he's a 4th-round pick, hasn't played in 2 years. Once again, read the article, now or never. If he doesn't do it now, he's cut.
Manny Ramos says he watched back some of that Dez video and takes back some of what he said about Dez.
So did I.
That's funny how a little film breakdown
it's
make you look at
real.
it differently.
And then just, and a lot of people have been ripping Shannon Sharp because what he's saying. And that's what's concerning to me about these top guys in the NFL, Chris Carter's and Shannon Sharp and those guys that dog Dez or other Cowboys players. And then when you go back and look at the tape, it doesn't match what they say. And then it's kind of like
they lose their credibility.
You lose credibility, and you guys played in the NFL.
Because now you're wondering, do they even watch the shit?
Yeah, they're doing it for ratings.
They don't even watch it.
That means you're doing it for ratings. And then you might have an average fan who might be looking up to you and trusting your football knowledge because you went to the Hall of Fame.
And then you make
so we're thinking, some people are thinking, I think too. Or you're watching the tape. But if you're not actually watching the tape and you're just spewing that out your mouth just to say it for the ratings, man, I'm losing all kind of respect for you, especially as an all Hall of Famer. If you're going to say those type of things on air, then you need to be doing the studying to validate that, because there's always going to come behind you to have tape to try to disprove and discredit what you just said. And they think that they can hang on the Hall of Fame stuff and they can just say anything out their mouth because I'm in the Hall of Fame. And that's what they live off, G, and I think that's why they say that stuff.
I Am Infinite over here on YouTube channel for Law Nation joins in, says, what's up, people? Appreciate you checking us out. Cedric's Mosley checks in, says Jerry will find a Mike linebacker, either the second or third round, but O-line's first off the board.
It better not be. I don't want that to happen.
If you're watching on Law Nation's YouTube channel, the link is in the description for the Silver and Blue Nation YouTube channel. You can go over and check that out. We'd appreciate it. And also, if you're on Facebook, go over to YouTube and check us out there, too. Albert Ybarra joining in with us on Facebook Live says, what's up? Appreciate you. How about them Cowboys?
How about him?
Joseph Marble wants to know some thoughts about Jason Witten.
He needs to play less.
If you want to hit that real quick before we get to our next topic.
Yeah, I'll hit that real quick. Jason Witten needs to play less. You know, me and you talked about last week. You said that he would be a guy that would just take a back seat and be cool. I don't believe that. I don't believe he would want to take a back seat unless a guy was just being super dominant. Jason Witten is a competitor, and he's going to want to be on the field. But at the end of the day, the Cowboys need to peel back his snaps. They need to find the tight end. Rico Gathers needs to step the hell up and do work. And it's kind of odd to me, a lot of those 30 visits that happened, there wasn't a lot of, tight ends. So hopefully they believe in Blake Jarwin, but somebody needs to step up at the tight end position because we are severely lacking.
I think they're looking into Rico Gathers to be that guy.
I'm not on the Rico Gathers train like that anymore.
So Bryce Butler signs with the Cardinals this week. Any thoughts on that at all?
Nope. But good luck.
So nothing. Okay.
No, because what did Bryce Butler? I have no hate for Bryce Butler as a person. I love Bryce Butler.
I don't understand, because I felt in my mind he was the second best receiver on the team. So why did he have to go? Why couldn't it have been Terrence Williams that goes or something like that?
I feel you, because they love some Terrence Williams, dog. They love Terrence Williams. I'm going to keep it real. When I went to the Atlanta game, his family is deep up at that game. It was like about.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
It was like 20. I told you I kicked it with his mom. I talked to his mom. His mom is super cool, and all his cousins and brothers. Like, his family is thick up in there with them Cowboys, like, straight up. So, and I think they really like him, man. They like Terrence Williams.
See, I don't like that about my team, though. I don't want you liking guys and being buddy-buddy. That's what we do.
What have we said that's been our problem? Because we coddle these players. We coddle them. We father them, like, with the Witten and Beasley. Like, we can't take Witten off the field because Witten don't want his feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We do that, and then that's what hurts us, because we don't know when to let go and when is when. We don't know when to stop.
Yeah, it's kind of been a trend with Jerry Jones, and I think every Cowboys fan knows
that.
But
Bryce Butler, anybody who's thinking Bryce Butler's a number one, he is not. You don't play high school, college, and pro and never been that. All of a sudden you do it. That's not the way it works. That doesn't happen. You don't do that your whole career and all of a sudden you become the man. That's not the way it happens. He's a good number 2, number 3 receiver, and that's just what he's going to be. Bryce Butler, if he does, I will be super surprised. Bryce Butler ain't getting no 80 receptions, 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns. Are you serious? No, he's not.
No, I don't see that either.
He is not doing that. Maybe he'll get 50 catches. I don't even know if he'll get 50.
So we're going to shift over to the defense then. And if you tried to call, someone just tried to call and I missed it. If you tried to call, you can if you like. If you want to jump in and join
Remember, you ain't
the
talking
phone
long,
conversation, you can get in here on the show if you want and talk with Big Game James here at 1-866-217-1966. You can see it scrolling across the screen in the top left corner. If you wanted to chime in and get your voice on the air, you can do that. So we're going to shift gears over here to defense. What are you expecting out of Chidobe Awuzie in year 2? Is he going to have a big season?
I think he is. I don't think he's a high interception guy. I don't ever think he will be that type of guy. He wasn't like that in college. He wasn't really like that in high school as well. I don't think he's just not going to be that guy that's going to be a high interception guy, but I think he's going to be a guy that can be a great tackler, be a guy that can get a lot of tackles in the season, maybe like 60, 70. He could be one of them type of corners that get you like Brandon Carr. Brandon Carr didn't get you a lot of interceptions, but he was a very good tackler. He had a lot of tackles on the season. So I think he'll be that guy because you can flex him as a, like a rover safety. You can send him on blitzes. So I think in that aspect, he will have a good year. has to stay away from injuries, but just not going to be a big interception guy.
See, I feel like he will get a lot of
I
interceptions
don't.
because he's aggressive.
But
and
he's
he likes
never
to
had a lot
jump
of
routes.
Yeah, but
no, he hasn't. But I feel like he will in the NFL.
Nah, you ain't did it in college. You ain't gonna come in the NFL.
I think he can.
I think he won't.
And he showed signs of that last season.
How?
Like, he was jumping routes. He just didn't have the hands for it.
Exactly. So how's he going to?
Exactly.
So how's he going to be a high interception guy and he's dropping balls?
Well, he barely played last year. Let's
don't
see
matter.
The full season. He's going to catch a few of those.
It don't matter how. That just shows you that he's not the dude to do it. He doesn't have the. He's not.
Give him more chances to catch than just those 2 or 3 games that he had those opportunities in. Then he's probably going to catch some.
If anybody's going to be that, it's going to be Jordan Lewis.
I think they both can. I think this might be a Legion of Boom type situation we got on our hands here. But for right now, we're going to jump to the phone line, and if you can't get through, you just got to keep trying. It's 1-866-217-1966. We got Joseph Jones on the line. What's up, Joseph?
What's up, man? How y'all doing? I appreciate y'all accepting my call. I've been listening to y'all lately.
Hey, appreciate you, Joseph.
Right. I want to touch on a couple of things you said. First of all, I disagree with you, big game. I do think Cheetah will be something close to a Xavier Woods, in my personal opinion. I think he got those capabilities. He plays similar to him. I would also want to test back what you said about Jason Witten. And I agree with you what you said about Jason. He's a competitor. But the problem is going to come down to you have to have a head coach who's willing to say, you know what, Jason Witten, if this guy Rico Gallows or James Hanna or whoever can produce, I need you to take some steps back. Because at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about the team. And right now, we don't have that kind of head coach who's going to do that, especially if you have a player who's similar to Tony Romo, who's got Jerry Jones in his back pocket. And I think that's a big problem with Jason Witten. Love Jason Witten like any other Cowboys fan. The dude's a soldier. He plays every game with a broken wheel. I remember that term. But at the end of the day, when a guy can't produce, I remember very short a play where Jason Witten was sitting there supposed to make a block when Dak was pulling. All he did was sit there, and he know you've been here in the league for too long. You know not to sit there. If you got to work blocking, you either need to go make yourself available for Dak or go engage with somebody. And to me, that's a sign of a player who was lost a little bit, not sure, and that's all because I don't know if maybe it's the scheme or is this him, but at the end of the day, you need to have somebody out there to do it. And at the end of the day, we don't have the head coach to do it. I'll listen to what y'all have to say.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you.
Appreciate that phone call. Good stuff.
Good stuff. I definitely appreciate that phone call. Now, I'm still going to disagree with you on the Wuze situation because, like I said, if you don't do it in college, just like there was a guy named Jake Locker, he played for the University of Washington, quarterback. Everybody was hyping him. He was going to be the next best thing as a quarterback. But guess what? He completed only 56% completion percentage in college. You don't complete only 56% completion percentage in college, and then all of a sudden you go to the NFL, and then you're completing 65 to 68%. No, it doesn't work like that. So that's why I don't think Awuzie is doing it. Now, if you watch Jordan Lewis, that's why I think he can't do it because he has been a receiver. He's always trying to trail and track the ball. Xavier Woods, I think, can be a guy that can get a lot of interceptions or get to it because he had 14 interceptions in his whole career, and he was a ball hawk. So that's where I see if you did a lot of that in college, it seems that you're going to pros. And then, like I said, when we just seen Awuzie, I like him, but he'll jump on that route, but he drops that ball. And I think he'll always be that guy that will always be able to get a lot of pass breakups, but won't get a lot of interceptions. And as far as the Jason Witten thing, I totally 100% agree with you as far as the coaches, because just like I said, we can get all these daggone players we want to. We can have a knockout draft where we want to. It don't matter if Jason Garrett can't do anything. And I do agree with you. Is Jason Garrett really going to be the coach to say, hey, Witten, take a seat because Rico Gather is balling?
Nope.
I don't think he is.
Appreciate that call, Joseph. That was a huge call. We appreciate it. Now we got another one now. Let's go to Nolan in California. What's going on, Nolan?
Hey, what's good, man? Thank you for the call.
Going back to Cali.
I had a quick two-part.
All right.
I want to know, how does Cooper Rush, Ryan Switzer, and Noah Brown stack up to this year's draft class? And I wanted to see what you guys think about that offensive line. What are we going to do? We can draft guard, or are we going to move Lyle back to guard? I'll hang up and listen, man.
Hey, appreciate
Good
you.
looking.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Nolan. All right, so if you're looking at the comparison to the draft, it's an incomplete because Ryan Switzer didn't play. That's our staff's fault. Cooper Rush, you can't really give him a grade because Dak is the man. But I still think he needs to play in the preseason. Cooper Rush needs to play.
I think what Nolan was getting at there was how do they compare to players in this draft coming? Like if you let's say Ryan Switzer, Noah Brown was in this draft. Yeah,
I think Ryan Switzer would still be a quality receiver because Ryan Switzer is good. Noah Brown would probably still be where he was at because Noah Brown was so young at Ohio State. He really didn't get any quality time.
Well, I got one for you then.
Go ahead.
You got 4th round, your projection, DJ Chark.
Mm-hmm.
How does he stack up against like a Ryan Switzer, another 4th rounder?
I'm sorry. I think DJ Chark is better than Ryan Switzer.
DJ Chark's better?
I just think he is.
So you would say that this receiver class is probably better, like we could get better guys.
Yeah, because I think because it's the overall depth. We was there, G. You saw all the daggone receivers they got. It's a lot of receivers this year, and you could get like the first 7 can come off the board. You still could get a good 1 and 8, 9, 10, 11 receiver. You still could get good ones. So it's a really good receiver class this year as far as steady, not dominant, but steady. You'll pick up a good receiver.
Thanks again, Nolan, for that phone call. He also wanted to know about the offensive line. So basically, just give him your final starting lineup for the offensive line.
Well, you're going to have Frederick. You're going to have then you're going to have Zach Martin. We don't know what the hell's going on with that problem. Tyron Smith's supposed to be in the best. Well, he hasn't signed yet.
Well, he's still going to be here this year no matter what.
He better.
Well, he will be this season. It's next offseason you have to worry.
So I'm just saying, hurry up and get that dude signed. Tyron Smith, of course. La'el Collins, I think he was asking about are we going to keep La'el Collins at tackle or are we going to move him to guard? That's the $1 million question. The draft is really going to show. If they draft Will Hernandez, then you're knowing Collins is staying at the tackle. If they don't draft Hernandez, they may possibly move him. But as I keep on saying before, if you just paid this guy right tackle big money, how are you going to move him to a guard position? Because negotiations will be coming up soon. It's hard to do that because players use that as leverage in negotiations, and so do teams. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of leads me to think that he may stay at tackle, and they got that Martin kid, and they may go after Hernandez early.
So how did the Cam Fleming signing affect that at all?
Because he's more like of a swing guy. He's the swing tackle. So if Collins isn't working out, you got a good quality backup like we didn't have with Chaz Green. You know what I'm saying? Chaz Green wasn't good quality backup at all. I mean, like right now, he's looking like trash. So now when you get a guy from New England who you can probably start, but they probably don't maybe want him to start. They probably want to have the best 5 out there. And if they could get Will Hernandez on that team, you know he's going to guard and Collins is staying right at tackle, and that's the starting lineup. Smith, Hernandez, Frederick, Martin, and Collins.
That'd be nice to grab another first-round lineman or even second round. I'd be happy with that. He's about a second-round projection, right?
Hey, well, I told you he's
Maybe
my
first.
second. He's probably moved up because of that great combine he had. But you know what? Big Coach Jay's film day, he was my second rounder I want.
He led all offensive linemen in bench press reps, if I'm not mistaken.
37.
And that led all the offensive linemen, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so then let's shift to another topic here. Before we get to some more comments and questions, we're actually just going to stay right in the draft then. And the Cowboys might be changing their tone a little bit when it comes to V2V.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean,
you were saying that they were like strictly Stephen Jones was like, no, we're not getting a guy with his technique.
But then they came back and said that they think he is a 3-down player. And so that feels like that they changed some things in their eyes because they were looking that they weren't valuing the one tech all like that because they're thinking he can't play every down. So they're not going to spend that kind of high-round draft pick or a guy who can't play all the time. So now they're coming out and saying, well, we think he's a 3-down guy, so maybe it changes our way of thinking. Does it really? Would Dallas really? We haven't drafted a defensive tackle since, I don't think, Russell Maryland in the first round?
First round, yeah, it's been a long time.
I think 91.
Not since I can even remember.
Yeah, 91. That was Russell Maryland, I believe, the last defensive tackle we drafted in the first round.
Like a true tackle.
True defensive tackle. So I would love to see Vita. You know, I got 3 or 4 players I would love to see in the Cowboys uniform in the first round. He's one of them, but I have shied away about talking about him because the way they pushed him away so bad. Like, we ain't even valuing him. We ain't even looking at him. Now they're changing their tune, so now my eyes looking to a little bit of hope because 6'5", 350 pounds, and that dude is, when he gives you that, he got that Reggie White, when he throw you with that arm, you're getting out the way. And he ain't no slow dude. He's a guy that can move laterally, and we haven't had that big run-stuffing type guy that can still get after the quarterback too. We haven't had that in so long. He would change our defense. Imagine if you still kept David Irving And people forget we still got Malik Collins. Nobody's even talking about Malik Collins no more. Nobody even talks about Malik Collins no more.
Well, you said first round. I was going to mention him like he was a third-round pick.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, though? You get a Vita.
He's like a lost man, yeah.
He could change because now he goes to that spot, and then you could push Collins back out to that 3-tech, you know what I mean? And he can flourish because Collins is not a 1-tech. He's just not that body type. He gets pushed around.
I want to thank everyone who's been tuning in so far today. If you missed anything, this is the Silver and Blue Nation live streaming podcast on EBSN Online. We're also over here on Law Nation's YouTube channel. You could subscribe to the Silver and Blue Nation YouTube channel as well with the link in the description to the Law Nation video. Sorry about that. If you just joined us on Facebook, thanks for tuning in. Leave us some comments. We got Manny Ramos, Frederick Garrett in there. Seen some new names. Daniel Baldonado. Hopefully I said that right. Let me know if I did. We got Danny Guzman in there. And Ron Smith, as always, has been watching from day one.
A1 day one.
A1 day one. Ron Smith, Katina, Ned, all these people that tune in with us every week. We appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So now I guess we can shift gears a little bit, and I'll give you this topic to throw out here before we try to get Ari Timkin on the phone with us.
All right.
I saw a little report about something about Dak Prescott smoking something.
Oh, please.
You want to talk about that for a second?
Hell yeah. Let's kill the subject. I don't care what they say. Do the drug test so we can find out. Man, that look nothing but a black and mild. It's just they reaching, they ain't got nothing to do. The site that pulled it up was like a whatever site. I don't even think that site had credibility, but it clearly looked like it had a filter tip. It clearly looked like that. So I mean, these people trip at like these players. I got to sit there and stay in the crib all day. They ain't allowed to go kick it. They just got to sit there and work out all day and eat protein shakes and sit there and think and watch football all damn day. That ain't how it works, man. These guys have lives like everybody else. They allowed to go to the clubs. They allowed to go kick it. As long as they ain't out there doing nothing stupid, they can kick it as much as they want as they can come out on that field and produce. If them dudes going to be out there at the late night and come in and produce, nobody gives a hell. As long as you taking that piss test and you pissing clean, I don't care what you're doing.
We did see it was confirmed though that he was smoking something. We just don't know what it was.
Yeah, please. Right? Yeah, come on. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
All right, we're going to as we promised, we've got Ari Timkin on the phone line with us to talk a little Cowboys. How you doing, Ari?
Gary, Big Game James, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, what's up, man? That's always a pleasure. I love listening to you,
Appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you big time. I thank you for hit your inbox, and I mean, I like listening to you. I like what you got to say, so I want to ask you some quick questions. Can I do that?
Absolutely, my man. I appreciate you asking me.
Hey, I appreciate it. So, all right, so when we talked last time, we were talking about the Dez Bryant situation. I think we had an agreement where we felt like, Dez kind of had to go because he was kind of like that alpha dog, kind of getting in Dak's way. So now
totally.
you hear the about the staffer supposedly saying that Dez can only do 3 routes. He wasn't really doing anything on the team, and now there's like this friction, and we're hearing about half the people saying they want to get rid of Dez. Half the people is going to say they're, you said you thought he was going to go. Now we're seeing all this happen. Do you really, because I don't know, man. Do you really think Dez Bryant is going to get cut?
It doesn't really make sense from a money standpoint, because there's just not, they would have a ton of dead money on their cap. And, where they are right now, they could survive with, the draft picks they're going to have to sign. Like, they don't have to cut him. That's the number one thing.
Mm-hmm.
From a money standpoint, they don't have to cut him. And, in fact, if they did, they might actually, it just doesn't make much monetary sense, because of the dead money that'd be left over, especially because what you'd be losing from a, potential production standpoint, you're just not going to make up that cost relative to what the market bears right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like there's that one side of it, which is like, well, why would you cut him when the money, like it's not about the money really cutting him, and kind of alluding to, as we talked about last time, well, maybe you're cutting him because it's addition by subtraction for that locker room. Maybe you're cutting him because he can create some friction in that locker room, and I still believe that there's some truth in that. I think. Dak kind of walked into a locker room that was not his necessarily. It was probably Romo's, but I think also Dez, he's a leader. And I think we wondered if Dak could truly become the leader that the Cowboys need him to be with Dez in that locker room. And, if I'm being honest, the more I thought about that, the more I thought, well, I mean, if you've got to do that, then do you really want Dak as your quarterback? I mean, if you need to get rid of Dez because you're worried about the friction that could cause from an alpha dog like Dez being in that locker room, then is Dak really your guy, or do you need a guy that's going to be a leader and going to be able to galvanize that locker room? So, look, I think the Cowboys, they are so good at creating headlines, and this is another one of those things, right? I mean, you talked about it. Half of Cowboys Nation wants him gone. Half of Cowboys Nation wants him to stay. Don't underestimate the Cowboys' ability to manufacture headlines continuously throughout the offseason. So, I think that's a part of it. I almost feel like, based on what we've heard from Steven and Jerry and Jason, that they've all already made up their minds, and they're kind of just waiting for Jerry to talk to them to either figure out, one, if he's going to take a pay cut, and two, Jerry's the ultimate deciding force here. And I don't think many decisions are made independent of I think it's a collective decision-making process in Dallas, and I think way more so than it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But I do believe this is truly Jerry Jones' decision.
All right, there you have it on that
Hey,
one.
I've got something to add to that for you, Ari. What would you think of a scenario or could you see a scenario like this, maybe a draft day type trade where you can kind of swap money on this too? If you were to do like a Rob, would you trade Dez Bryant for Rob Gronkowski?
Yes. No question. No question. Yeah, because he just does so much as far as matchup issues in the middle of the field. That Witten obviously used to do, but can at his age. So yeah, I do wonder if in the back of my mind, there's always this idea, and Jerry certainly kind of alluded to it a bit, but the draft is in his building, so he's
that's
just
what
not
we've
going
been
to let
talking
the
about.
Eagles. Yeah, he's just not going to let the Eagles come in there and celebrate a championship on his watch, right?
No,
he's
that's
going to
not
do
happening.
something.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But if I'm a Cowboys fan, the one thing I'm thinking of is maybe they can trade some picks and try and get in the conversation for Derwin James, the safety from Florida State. And he seems to be the best safety in this draft.
I love that.
The Cowboys have had not a lot of success recently in trading up in the draft. I think of Mo Claiborne, but Derwin James is the guy that seems like a can't miss prospect. And here's my feeling, guys: the closer this thing gets to training camp, remember Earl Thomas said he was going to hold out if he didn't get a long-term deal. He told the Seahawks that at the beginning of the offseason.
Right.
So the Seahawks don't have to make a move today. They don't have to move until he starts actually holding out. And if he does, and now all of a sudden, because right now they have all the leverage. That's why they asked for a 1 and a 3. Of course they would. Why wouldn't they? They have all the leverage. But the closer this thing gets to training camp, the more he actually does hold out, the longer that goes, the more the leverage slides to the Cowboys' favor. So here's something crazy that I've thought of just to really make Cowboys fans salivate. What if they traded some picks and traded up and got Derwin James, the safety of the future, and they figured out a way to trade right before training camp or during training camp for Earl Thomas, the safety of that could really teach Derwin James how to become a beast. You would have the here and the now and the future on the field at the same time in the most important position in the National Football League, or one of the most important positions in the National Football League, which is safety.
And not just that, you also have Chris Richard, who has coached Earl Thomas, and he already knows everything that goes on. And then you're going to be he's going to be your captain as far as relaying the information to Derwin James. So that kind of segues to what I was going to ask you. Another one of my questions. Dallas draft. What should they do? Should they trade out? Should they back up? Or should they try to stay with the 19th pick and just roll with it? What do you think?
They have so many options at 19.
So many.
Which I like. Look, their track record, the second round is not great, but the track record of the first round is pretty good. Save for Taco Charlton. But so I think they could really be flexible. I'm a major proponent of take best available. I really think in the National Football League, in the NFL draft, you have to take the best available player, not draft on need, because what is a need going into the year might not become a need by the end of the year, because there's just so much turnover in the NFL. As far as a guy could be really good one year and you count on him and you think he's going to be great the next year, and it just doesn't translate as much. So I just think take the best available regardless of position. So I think at that spot at 19, they've got a lot of options. I know last time I was on, I talked about Vita Vea. I really still like him a lot. I don't think the Cowboys are going to take him, but I just think he could be a disruptive force. They talked about not wanting to take basically a nose tackle in that spot, but I just love, he's so disruptive in the middle. I think he opens up so much for the pass rushers, and they just don't have true guy in the middle of the field, in the middle of their defensive line like that to really, to be an Aaron Donald type. I hate to make those comps, but he just
changes the
like
game though. He
that
changes
kind
the
of a
game.
guy.
That's the standard.
So, but I don't think they've already said Stephen Jones, who basically runs their drafts, already said they're not going to take a guy like that. But if he's available at 19, I think he's got a potential to be the best defensive player in this draft. I love the idea of trading up to get Derwin James.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
I just worry about, he's young, and that's why I kind of parlay that with trading for Earl Thomas, which seems like a ridiculous thing to do. But I think they want a 1 and a 3. But let's see what happens if he holds out and
they ain't getting that 1 and 3.
And that puts the ball then potentially in the Cowboys' court.
Mm-hmm.
To maybe basically make a move. And I don't know what they would have to trade up to get Derwin James. I don't know what they'd have to give up. I don't know how far they'd have to trade up to do so. But let's say they have a future second, a future third out there for Earl Thomas once it gets closer to training camp. I think that might be more viable than what the Seahawks are already asking for. So. I think the position of need and what looks to be a lot of depth is the linebacking position in this draft especially. So, who knows if Roquan Smith will be there? Probably not. But Landry, another guy that I like at that position at 19. So, if they stay at 19, they're not going to go with Vea. Then there's tons of linebackers that they can take in that position and feel good about it.
Yeah, I definitely feel you with that. And one thing I want to say with Seattle, I don't know what the hell they thinking because ain't no other players out there been getting no 1 and 3s. So I don't know where where in the hell they think they're gonna get a 29-year-old player that was hurt the last couple of years. They was getting a 1 and 3. That's why probably everybody laughing at them because they know no way in hell ain't no other these other good players been going for a 1 and a 3. And Earl Thomas ain't getting no 1 and 3. So that those
you're absolutely right. Look at the market, right?
You feel me? The market ain't saying that.
Them.
These guys are dropping for, like you said, 3rd, 4th, and 5th now. They ain't even you rarely are going to see a number 1 for anybody except maybe like a Odell Beckham, and that's only because he's still only like 22 or 23. You're not getting once you hit 25, 26, you ain't getting no first rounder for no 25, 26. Not unless he's like an Aaron Donald. You got to be elite, and
young.
Yes,
young
you have to be super young.
But I think they did it because when Earl Thomas said he wanted to play for the Cowboys and he had that he had the meeting with Jason Garrett basically, and that kind of took some of the leverage away from the Cowboys, right? But I think they can recoup some of that leverage, as it gets closer to training camp. And again, if Earl Thomas does hold out, which he said he would at the beginning of the offseason, then and they start training camp, but he's not there, and that could be a combustible situation, volatile situation. All of a sudden, there's Jerry picking up the phone like, we got a 3 for you next year. How about that?
Exactly. Come on here and bring it in. Well, hey, all right, I got one last question for you before we get up off here. I want you to ask you about Jason Garrett because I ain't fond of him at no time. Is he a lame duck coach? Does he have to get to at least, like, in your opinion, does he have to get to like an NFC championship to still be the Cowboys and beyond, or is he still going to be safe if he just gets to the playoffs and maybe loses again?
Yeah, he's going to be safe if he makes the playoffs.
Man, that's some BS. I don't want to hear that crap.
The Cowboys. Look, the Cowboys
I don't hear none of that crap,
successful. Man. I'm not telling you what I want because I'm with you. I think Jason Garrett is just like the majority of head coaches in the NFL, which is just average. Gosh. And I mean, we just saw Doug Peterson basically do some, use some advanced analytics and metrics to basically win a Super Bowl, it's a crazy thing. But I mean, the NFL is so far behind every other league when it comes to the usage of advanced analytics. Right. So a guy like Doug Peterson is completely revolutionary when literally Major League Baseball and the NBA are like, they're so far ahead. So and Garrett to me is just the same, like for instance, Doug, one of the advanced analytics that Doug Peterson likes to use is, you don't always kick a field goal on 4th down in an opponent's territory.
Right.
Sometimes it's going to be worth more points per possession when you go for it, even in an opponent's territory, even if you don't score,
right.
even if you don't get it on 4th down.
Right.
But I mean, Jason Garrett's never seen a 4th down opportunity in an opponent's territory that he didn't want to kick a field goal.
Right.
And that
he's
way,
scary.
Bailey's been bad for them because it's almost like they're so reliant on him, that it becomes now it's all of a sudden it's like you get past the 50 and Jason Garrett wants to take his 3 and go home.
You know it.
And yes. And how many times have we seen, 3, and it's like at the end of the day, one team scores a couple of touchdowns on you, and now all of a sudden those 3s, they killed you.
Right.
And and he's the type of guy that gets viable excuses, and he's just left with a boatload of excuses at the end of the day. I think he is such an excuse-making head coach. I can't stand him. But with all that being said,
love you.
With all that being said, guys, I mean, I think the playoffs will be enough to keep him because Jerry and the Cowboys want him to be successful.
But that's but all right. Let me tell you this: the reason why I didn't mean to cut you off, sir.
No,
but
it's all good.
I just feel like the reason why they want him to be successful because Jerry wants to say, before I leave up off this earth, I did it my way. I got a Super Bowl with my guy that I picked. And because even though they had Jimmy Johnson, there was that friction. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
But
totally.
he wants to be able to say, I handpicked Jason Garrett. This was my dude that I did it. And that's why I feel like he's being so kind of bullheaded with keeping him because he wants to say, this is my piece. And he wants to keep everything together. He don't want to start over. He old. He don't want to start over with a whole new staff and do it. He old as hell. He don't want to do that. He don't. So he getting comfortable.
Totally.
To me, it reminds me of that. I don't want to bring up the Cincinnati Bengals, but it's kind of like you comfortable like Mike Brown. Mike Brown don't want no change. And as long as he feel like we getting close and we going to the playoffs and people still buying tickets, I'm okay. And some of the owners are like that. Not every owner is out there seem like they want to get a Super Bowl. I don't care what nobody tell me.
No, that's true. And look, I think it's Jerry's guy. I mean, he was part of those 90s Cowboys, back quarterback to Troy, and so they feel like, hey, we groomed this guy to be a good head coach, and they want to give him every opportunity to be successful. And I think the problem is Jerry, and especially it's funny because Jerry and Mike Brown, in Cincy and in Dallas for 2 decades, those guys were firing coaches left and right every 5 seconds. And now it's like they both overcorrected, and they're just keep holding on to mediocre head coaches. And that's the reality is most coaches in the NFL are mediocre because they're conservative. They're ultra conservative because when they lose games, it's not their fault.
Yep.
It's that everything didn't go right.
Yep.
And that's why you look at a guy like Doug Peterson, he took risks. They didn't always pay off, but if you take enough risks over the course of the year, the analytics tell you you're going to accumulate more points and put yourself in position to win more games. And that's just not how Jason Garrett's programmed to be. And so I think could Jason Garrett as a head coach win a Super Bowl? Maybe, but everything has to go right. And everything has to go right. And in the NFL,
everything.
Turnover,
everything.
Not everything is going to go right. Totally. I mean, everything went right for the Cowboys a couple of years ago. And they went 13-3.
Exactly.
And then everything didn't go right for them in the playoffs. So, you have to be a risk taker. You have to take calculated risks and understand what you're doing. And you have to be multiple with your schemes. And those are not characteristics of Jason Garrett.
Yo, I totally agree with you on everything 100%, especially when you said I can't stand him. I jumped out of my shirt and everything. You didn't see it, though. You didn't see me jump out, but I jumped out. I was doing the little dance when he said all that good stuff because I was agreeing with you and feeling you. I think that's the biggest problem with him is that he is conservative. He won't take the chance or anything like that. But I do appreciate you, Ari, calling in, man. I got mad love for you. I love what you do and everything you do, and I thank you for gracing our time, man.
Hey, Ari, where can people find you at now?
Check me out on Phantom, and we're broadcasting this show on Phantom as well. So check it out at facebook.com/watch Phantom.
Hey, and check Ari out. He's the man, dude.
Thanks, Ari. We will talk
Appreciate
to you
guys saying that. Big game, James. You take care, brother.
All right.
And Gary, appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Yes, sir.
All right,
we'll talk
take it
soon.
easy.
Bye.
My guy, Ari.
Yeah, he made a lot of great points
Great
here.
points. Good
and,
stuff.
if you're just tuning in and
Good
you're just
stuff,
joining
Ari.
us, that was Ari Timkin, formerly of ESPN in San Antonio. He just joined us to talk Cowboys. And if you missed that, you can always listen back to it on the podcast, on Google Play, iTunes, and SoundCloud, as well as the rest of the show if you missed it. And you're watching live right now on either Facebook or YouTube. We certainly appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to us on all channels, all social media. We got a lot of comments that's been coming in. I know that, and we have not been able to get to them.
Sorry.
We got a few more minutes left in the show. Hopefully, if we missed your comment, you can send them back in, and we will get to them eventually as we go on here. And if we missed it, you can always tune in next Sunday as well because we're here every Sunday.
Hey, let me give a few shout-outs right quick. Let me see some. Micah Andrews, who's Bam. Hey, Bam, let me just tell you something, Bam. You threw me off when I seen the Micah Andrews. I gave him a shout-out on his birthday.
Facebook Live.
Yeah, look, no, but he's my friend on Facebook, so it was his birthday, so I was like, happy birthday, dog. And then Micah Andrews said thank you. I said, who the hell is Micah Andrews saying liking my comment on some BAM? So that threw me off, dog. So hey, I appreciate you.
Was he just messing with you?
No, I think that's the government name. I don't know how you doing that. Got him on. I don't want to put out but I thought it threw me off when I seen that. So big shout outs to him. Also, my man Juwan James says not much, but guess what he said? He said, not much, Rod, checking in on my favorite weekend show.
Oh, yeah. You love hearing that.
Yeah, I love hearing that.
He deserves one of these.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Hey, Juwan, did you give us a 5-star rating? Because you can't say that and haven't give us a rating. You better get on that
you need
button.
To get over there and
get on that button
give us a
and
Facebook
touch it and
rating.
say 5.
Something that Ari had mentioned that I wanted to talk about for a second was, before we moved on to other topics, was he'd rather the Cowboys draft best available versus positions of need, which I agree with that completely. Mm-hmm. And I kind of looked back at the 2015 draft a little bit, where we took Byron Jones at 27. And when he was drafted, he was expected to be a cornerback, correct? Because we needed corner at that time.
Right.
So I would say he was drafted on need, mainly, with the option to move around. But then you had Landon Collins go in the second round, who was probably a better player. And he is a better player.
He is. Not probably. He is the better player.
And it's just ironic and funny because we ended up using Byron Jones as a safety, brought in as a corner, but really we needed a safety there. So we should have went with the best available if we wanted to go secondary. I think Landon Collins should have been the pick right there. When you look back at it now.
See, I love when people listen. He said, say no more, I got you. There you go.
Oh, with the page rating?
Hell yeah. We need them good page ratings.
So I asked Ari the question. I'm going to go ahead and put it up here, too, for everybody in the comment section, because this could be a nice debate topic here. Would you trade Dez Bryant for Rob Gronkowski? Would it be straight up? Would you add a pick in there for either team? I mean, they're kind of similar players.
I'm doing that. And I know he hurt all the time.
They're similar players when you look at their careers.
I know he hurt. I know, and it's going against what I'm saying. You can say, you a hypocrite, Jack. You can say it. Say it. But if they said Rob Gronkowski for Dez Bryant, ding.
Why?
See ya. I don't know. I like Rob. I don't know why. I just like him. He just good. He real good.
He's the best in the league.
He good.
When he's healthy, when he's out there.
I know the health thing, but if let's say you had him and Jason Witten on the field, right? I mean, he's going to open up the field. He is going to open up the field. Then let's say if you made that straight up trade and then you could get a receiver, you could still get a cover receiver. And let's even say this. Let's say you kept Rico Gathers on the team, and then Jason Witten rides off to the sunset next year, and you got Rob Gronkowski and Rico Gathers.
Heck, Gronk's career might be gone.
I'm just saying. I just look at the possibilities. It may never happen. The hypotheticals sound so beautiful.
This won't even happen.
This won't happen. But it's just beautiful to dream.
It's good to think about.
It's good
because
to dream.
There are several reasons. Like you hear the news about Dez in Dallas. You know the situation there.
California dreaming.
You're hearing about Gronk maybe being traded. Like you've heard that this offseason. So
right.
Both players with some speculation as to whether they'll be with their respective teams or not going forward.
Right.
So they're both currently with those teams right now. So why not do some kind of draft day trade? I think that'd be kind of cool.
I think it'd be great.
Dez Bryant could go and succeed with Tom Brady.
And we come in.
And Gronk's going to be good no matter who he's with.
Yeah, he's going to be good. He's going to make any team better.
Just the fact that he's so big.
He's the Terminator, bro. He looked just like the dude that walk in there on Terminator 2, the one you could blow up and he split in half. He's that dude.
And a lot of people over here in the comments are saying from Law Nation's YouTube channel, Kimberly Campbell, let's see, a couple others here are saying that Franklin, Jeff, people are saying that Gronk would not be able to last the whole season, which might be true.
But I'll take 8 games from that dude.
Who knows if Dez Bryant will last the season?
Exactly. It's not like Dez Bryant hasn't been hurt his whole career. I mean, he has. I mean, he's only had one season where he's had played 16 games?
He's been banged up a lot, yeah. Every year he gets a little banged up
and them ankles, knees, and foots. It's always one of them, ankles, knees, and foots. So it ain't like Dez Bryant's been healthy his whole career. I'm doing it. If that was ever to happen, which it never would, I would straight up do that in 1.5 seconds.
Hey, I wouldn't say it never could. No, I wouldn't be surprised. Anything can happen. But let us know what you think in the comments. Would you trade straight up Dez for Gronk, or how do you think that could work if the let's just be realistic about it. Would that be the deal? Would it be straight up? Or
Hell no, they're gonna want picks. They ain't
would the
doing
Cowboys
that.
want? So the Patriots would want Dez and a pick from the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think so because that's not a fair match. That's not a fair trade. Gronk is still at the top of his game, and I don't think Dez is. Dez is still a good receiver, but he's not at the top of his game right now. So yes, if I'm the Patriots, I'm not giving you no Rob Gronkowski for no Dez Bryant. You better give me a pick or two. Maybe another player.
The Patriots are known for getting rid of guys while they still have value.
Okay, that's cool, but I'm not doing the straight up.
Cooks.
That's not. Yeah, but what did they? They got something out of it.
You're right. Straight. Yeah, but still,
they gonna get some picks.
Dez Bryant's still a beast from what we were saying this whole show.
He's still good. I ain't saying he wasn't
so
good.
let him go play with Brady. You're looking at another Randy Moss type situation potentially.
Patriots gonna want a pick. They're not gonna do if they did it, they're gonna want a pick too.
I mean, I think that the Patriots would do what you're saying too, as far as like they would want to pick. But I feel like if it was me, I'd probably do it straight up.
Whew, not me.
I mean, you got Gronk, who's supposedly having problems with the front office, you know, not knowing if he's wanting to play or not. He's talked about retiring.
Throw me a pick in there.
Let's move on. Hopefully, people in the comments are going crazy on that one. I don't know. So we'll switch gears into another topic. Tyron Smith, there's something that came out saying he's in the best shape of his career.
Please.
So what's that about? Did you read into that a little bit?
I seen a little bit where he said he's healthy. I mean, I think the back issues were never something that was like a DeMarcus Lawrence thing where he actually had to get the surgery.
Bad, yeah.
It was more the spasms. You can't really go to surgery for spasms. You can't surgery that. So all I can say is please and hopefully and praying that happens because he changes our whole game when he's on the field. Like, we're a whole different monster of a team when Tyron Smith is there. And that's just it. So he's our anchor. We got him, and he's still young. Remember when we got him, he was like 19 years old.
He's 25
He's like 25 and 26, been in the league like 7 years. He's still young, so we need that rock. So if that's the thing where it's, he's saying he's in some of the best health in his life, please let that be true because remember last year and they were talking about, he may still have a reoccurring back. And I remember we talked about it, I said, watch, if they're talking about this in training camp, he going to miss games this year. And what happened? He missed games and critical games when we needed him the most.
And just critical moments in games as well.
Critical
where he just
moments.
Had to come off the field for a few plays.
And then you got to also look at, even when he was playing, he wasn't at his full potential. Because of the back injury. You have ever had a back injury? If you ever had back spasms, because I've had back spasms, they ain't no joke. And when your back gets a spasm, you're a left tackle. You're playing against some of the best right ends, and they're putting stress against that back. Are you really playing your best?
And look at all that weight he's carrying around. He's huge.
You seen when he was in the Seattle game, he came out there and played like one series and was done.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm excited though if he feels that way, or
Hell
if he
yes.
really feels that way,
Yes.
because if this is the best shape we've seen him in, that means he's going to be the best that he's played in his career so far.
Right.
Which would be amazing because he's already an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler every single year, and already considered the best left tackle in the league. So he's talking about he could be better than that. You got to be geeked if you're a Cowboys fan.
You got to be. Watching his tape when we watched, the top 100 players, and watching his hand fighting. And just listening to these guys that are in the league that are huge, and they say when he puts his hands on you, you're not moving.
I mean,
and these are
like
grown,
a bear.
Yeah, and these are grown-ass men that are 6'5", 300 and some pounds, and saying that when this guy puts his hands on you, you don't move.
He looks like a big old.
They say he's a Greek.
bear.
I mean, you remember when we were talking about G? I was like, when he first came out, I was like, is he really going to be a left tackle? He's too lean.
He didn't have any fat.
He had no fat on him. He was lean and he was tall and he just looked like a big tight end.
Right.
And I was like, is he going to have the girth to be able to hold these guys off because he don't look big enough? And
he's a monster.
He sure shut me the
Seeing
hell
him
up.
in person is unbelievable.
I will
too.
shut the hell up. Tyron
So
Smith.
we're getting ready to wrap the show up here. Hopefully you guys all have enjoyed
It's so
what
hard
we've done here today. Hopefully we hit all the topics. If
to
we
say
didn't hit 'em,
goodbye.
keep the comments coming. We'll try to touch on anything we can before we get out of here. If not, we'll get to it next week.
Right when
Also, your
everybody
comments
viewing.
next week. Oh, it's starting to get in there
Hell
now.
yeah! Why does it do that?
Because of the time of the day.
Everybody out of church.
Maybe we'll have to make an adjustment. I don't know.
No, we'll have to see church.
But if you're just tuning in and you missed it, you can always rewind it right here on Facebook Live or YouTube. Or you can
Vondell
go back
asked-
and listen on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play.
Vondell asks, "Is this the new time?" I'm gonna let the producer tell you.
Well, as of right now, we're doing 3:30 to 5, so I guess we'll do this for a couple weeks, see what happens. It's the off season. Things are flexible right now.
Filling out.
We can do it how we want. When the season comes around, though, we're here pregame, halftime, postgame, every game.
You know how we do.
So we're here every Sunday. If you're just tuning in and you miss anything from the show, check us out next week as well, every single Sunday. And we just really appreciate everybody who's checked in with us so far.
Yeah, let's give shout-outs to everybody.
Throughout the entire year that we've been existing. Go ahead, let's do some shout-outs.
Let me give shout-outs. You give them from the YouTube.
Wait a minute, I need to take – we got a call coming in. Let me check this out.
All right. Well, I'm going to give shout-outs since he's taking the call. Vondell, Manny, Annette, Keith, C Receiver, Bam. I'm calling you Bam. Michael Balzuda. I'm sorry if I messed that name up. Ron, of course, Katina, Mario, Manny, who else has been in here? There's been Jawan. Thank you for the 5 stars if you gave us that. So I think I tagged a lot of people on here. Willie, Big Willie, I hope you're still in here. I ain't talked to you in a while. Frederick Garrett, what's up, big dog? Just Mitch Daniels. Who else is in here? I think I got a lot of people. So shout outs to everybody who tuned in. Once again, I love all y'all. Try to always give y'all shout outs because we just talking Cowboy football. And once again, it ain't never about us. It's about y'all.
So there are 2 things I want to touch on before we get out of here. One of them is a phone call we're going to go ahead and take right now. We've got Mike from over in Afghanistan watching right now on the line. What's up, Mike? Appreciate you tuning in.
Is he on?
What's up, brother? How are you guys doing?
Hey, man, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, I got about 10, 12 hours a day I put in on watching videos, and just got in touch with you guys about a week ago, and I've been watching other videos, so I thought I'd call in when I got a chance.
Wow, appreciate that. What are you doing over there?
No problem. I'm a vice president for a fuel company. We bring in all the fuel to Afghanistan for the troops.
Oh, wow.
And love my Cowboys, so man, if it wasn't for the internet these days, I go crazy. Going, 7 or 8 months with no football. You guys are doing a good job, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, man, we appreciate you. I'm gonna keep it real. You gave me chills when you said you was calling from Afghanistan.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, I got about two, three points I want to hit up.
Throw them out.
I know the Cowboys kind of looking, at 19. Sticking there or moving up. I think if we got a chance to move up, there's actually like 4 teams ahead of us that only have 6 picks in the draft. Mm-hmm. We have 10.
Mike,
we could group some of those up and hit those teams that only have 6 picks and really make a move, I think.
I'm sorry. Can you turn that whatever you have going on in the background there? I think it's the show. Could you turn that down a little bit?
Can. Yeah.
Please? So we can hear you nice and clear.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Now we got all of you.
Yeah. But at 19, we got 10 picks.
Right.
If we think, Derwin James or one of the linebackers that we might be able to move up and get, or if, Vita Vea or Calvin Ridley, I'm not big on I think we should give Dez one more year. Look, let him finish it out, let him roll, and then if it doesn't work this year, I mean he's still a threat. He's still a weapon. Maybe not what he was, but I think part of that is Dak's
absolutely
Dak's ability to throw deep at this point. And it's nothing on Dak. He's super cautious. He moves us down the field. He don't have to throw deep and all the time or 10 times a game. We need 2 or 3 of those a game to keep the defense honest. But another thing I'm looking at is I know they're looking at this Vita Vea guy. I like him. In the 3rd round is a guy from Sam Houston State, P.J. Hall.
I've seen him.
You guys check him out. That dude is sick.
Yeah, he is.
Bro,
he's really good.
6'1", 38-inch vertical.
D tackle,
he weighs
right?
310, and he runs a 4.7.
He's nasty.
He blocked 14 kicks. He blocked 14 kicks in college. So there's a little bit of a delay here since I'm from Afghanistan. So sorry I might be walking on you guys.
No, you're good.
Dude, to plug up the middle, he might be an option like in the early. And he'll be the first pick that wasn't at the combine.
Mm-hmm.
Is what they're saying. He's tight.
He is. So, I got a friend of mine who actually had tape on him. He's a monster.
14 blocks. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's something we haven't had.
39 sacks.
Wow.
Like 39 sacks, 87 tackles for loss. 4 interceptions, and he has a lot of swats because of the vertical leap he gets. I mean, he swats passes down like J.J. Watt, but kind of small school.
Right.
But he's 36 reps on the bench press. They said his combine was better than J.J. Watt and Ndamukong Suh.
Wow.
If you combine,
Yeah,
he wasn't the combine. I'm sorry, his pro day. If you compare his pro day to their combine, so that's what I'm looking at. If we don't get Vita Vea to plug up the middle, second, third round, middle third round, he looks like a good pick. But anyways, I appreciate the Cowboy time. And are you guys gonna be at the draft?
Actually, I will. I will be up there on the 26th. We're going to actually be doing a live broadcast. G's going to be in Honolulu, Hawaii. La, la, la. He's going to be doing that. I'm gonna be,
he's going straight to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, you feel me? He la,
la,
la, la. That's what he's going to be doing. I'm going to see him do his little hula hoop thing from the side or whatever. I'm going to be there, though, and we're going to be trying to get it in and see what happens on that 19th pick. But I'm going to tell you what, we definitely appreciate you. Please keep tuning in. That's freaking huge calling from Afghanistan, man. We feel freaking special, man.
It's very honored.
Well,
we're honored.
I'll be home on the 20th. I'm renting an RV. I don't know if you guys know Cowboy Joe Boo, Law Nation.
Yes, we do.
Law Nation,
those guys. Yeah, I'm gonna be right there with them. We're putting our RV together, so I'll be with them on their show. So if you guys see them, we'll have two huge RVs. We'll be broadcasting from over there too. So
all right, I'm gonna have to head down. Are you going? That's for the draft, right?
For you.
Is that for the
draft?
draft?
We'll be there all 3 days.
Okay, well I'm gonna holler at you.
We'll be there all 3 days.
Me and you gonna kick it.
All right, Mike. Make sure
we
you.
Sure will. I'll see you there, brother.
All right.
Hey, we're here every Sunday, just so you know, every single Sunday.
I'll line it up.
All right, man. Appreciate you,
Mike.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Well, that was pretty cool.
I mean, I told you, area codes. Oh, area codes.
I'm trying to think of how you would sing that. But
you know the song. They know the song, too.
I'm trying to think of a word to replace the one word with. But it's all good.
I know. I don't know how we go, but you know that. You know
we got Cowboys. We got fans. But it don't rhyme like that.
Oh, let me give a shout out. I think there was 2 bands. Bam Bam Castro. Mad love to you. Sorry,
Facebook
you
love?
ain't. Yeah, you ain't the original Big Dog. You ain't the original Bam Bam.
Oh.
But I'm gonna give you your shout outs for the Bam Bam Castro. So shout outs to you, Big Dog, too. We got mad love for you too. Just we got the original Bam, but you can be the second Bam. Could be Bam Bam Bam. I don't know.
Man, that's just awesome. People tuning in from Afghanistan.
But it ain't just been Afghanistan. It's been Alaska, Honduras, England, United Kingdom.
That's the beautiful thing about the internet. We're all over the world.
Philippines. I mean,
you could literally you could take a globe and put pins all over the world where someone has seen Silver&Blue Nation and watched it.
Not bragging or nothing, but
we're worldwide.
But we a little bit worldwide. We ain't bragging. I promise, we ain't bragging.
Hey,
but we a little worldwide.
This is the humblest Cowboys show you'll ever find.
Humble.
Real quick, one final thing I wanted to ask you about before we head out of here. What's going to happen with the wide receiver battle as far as like the bottom part of the roster? Like we know we're going to have at least probably the 5 main guys, but who's going to be battling it out for that final spot, and who you think could win it at this point?
Well, I know Noah Brown's going to be battling. They got the Katie Drummond, I believe. He's going to be probably battling. I don't know if we got Lance Lenore. I think he was still on the practice squad. I think he still might be.
Yeah, I liked him a lot, too.
I liked him, too. They're going to be battling. They cut Brian Brown. Remember with him? He wasn't that great of a player, but they cut him. So I look at those 3 guys as being like unless they bring another.
Well, Deontay Thompson.
Yeah, Deontay Thompson. Those are the guys they'll be battling out because Deontay Thompson was only on a 1-year deal, so that's not guaranteed. They ain't going to owe him nothing.
So we're looking at Dez, Terrence Williams still, Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, Ryan Switzer. There's 5. And then you would have Noah Brown, Deontay Thompson. So that would be 7. And I think that's where it ends right there. I don't think the other guys even have a shot because one guy was signed as a free agent and being paid a couple million, and then you have a draft pick. So I feel like the other dudes don't even have a chance unless you get like a Victor Cruz type deal where a guy just explodes out of nowhere,
right? Which
I could see Lance Lenore maybe having some of those abilities, but he's going to be a guy that's going to have to work his way up slowly like a Patrick Creighton or something. That's kind of what he reminds me of a little bit, but I think it's just going to come down to Deontay Thompson and Noah Brown for that final spot. at the end of the day. Obviously, you're going to have a lot more guys in the preseason for depth and all that because you need, 90 or 100 players in camp?
They're going to have their camp bodies. They're going to have hella players. They're going to bring a lot of people from those how they have the state days like Texas. They'll bring in a lot of Dallas Cowboy, like SMU. A lot of Texas teams will come in and kind of fill up those roster spots. You know damn well they ain't going to make the team, though.
I've got a small feeling, though, that we're going to see another change at the wide receiver position with the players that we currently have, whether that's Dez Bryant or not. One of these guys, I think, could be on the move. So that's something to watch for as the draft comes up. The draft will be in 2 weeks, about 3 weeks.
A little over 2 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks. So like
on the 26th, the first day.
I'll be in Hawaii. You'll be down in Mexico, right? Are you going?
Yeah. And then, like I said, we're going to be there, but I might jump out there too. Tyson's going to be out there. Tyson West Coast will be out there. Law Nation, Jabu. Everybody's going to be out there. It's going to be a big thing because it's in Texas. So I'm probably just not going to try to be at Mexico. We're going to try to be dipping out and try to catch out some of those other guys too, or, just kick it because it's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a fun day. So we're just trying to have, show the love. And, Silver and Blue Nation going to be the hell out there. That's one damn thing you're going to know. Silver and Blue Nation, if G ain't out there doing la, 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 Big Game James going to be there.
Hey,
That's how we roll.
We've been everywhere.
We're going to be at them games too, y'all. So ain't we going to Carolina? We're going to Carolina because we need to see Mama T.
I'm thinking I might try to go to every game this year.
Well, I know we're going to Indianapolis, right? We're going to Indianapolis, right?
Well, that's for sure.
That's for damn sure.
I mean, that's an hour and a half ride. We just went there for the combine.
That ain't And we going to go see Mama T, right?
I blinked my eyes and we was back.
Are we going to go see Mama T?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we need to go see her.
Might as well, right?
Might as well. And,
but you know what I was just saying, though?
What?
How sweet would that be to go see every single game?
It'd
all
be
the home
dope.
Games, all the road games.
You got that game money?
You might be able to work that out throughout a season. It's only 16. I mean, I've gone to 5 or 6 games in a season.
I did like 3, the most ever I did in a season. Them was like, whoa.
It depends on where they're at.
Feel
like
me?
But we appreciate everybody who's tuned in tonight, or today, I should say. We're at today now. It's not tonight yet, but if anybody, did you have any final thoughts or anything before next week?
Love, peace, and hair grease. Sunday. I love everybody. Just once again, I just like to give the shout outs to everybody on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody on Silver and Blue. If you checked out on our page,
that's what it's all about.
Just the support. That's every time we end the show, I always want to end up with that. The support that everybody gives Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, Dallas. Since we've been doing this for over a year now, G, it's grown and it's been the support. So we just love all y'all that, tune in because y'all could be doing something else. Y'all could be kicking in, whatever. But the fact that you tune in and jump in on this talk is huge to us. And we just thank you, everybody. Salutes.
Yes, I'm right there on board with you. Appreciate everybody as always. You probably hear me say the word appreciate about 50 times throughout a show. Right. So once again, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. And, you can't never tell somebody you appreciate them too damn much. Who's going to tell you to say stop saying that? I'm not.
And make sure you check back in every single Sunday, all through the off season.
Every damn
including
Sunday.
The regular season.
No
matter where we are, we'll be out of state in a different,
we don't take a break.
State. We're still doing it.
We don't take a break.
So until next week, make sure you check back in. That's Big Game James.
And that's Producer G.
And now the show's over.
Peace.